watching News 18 at 6. News from where you live.
It has been 2 days since President Donald Trump signed an executive order keeping children with their parents when they cross the border illegally.
Details of implementing the change are still being worked out. I talked with CBS News correspondent David Begnaud earlier today. CBS News correspondent David Begnaud is joining me now. He is one of the very few reporters who were allowed inside one of those detention centers. Thank you so much, David. Can you describe what you saw?
We went inside the detention center, the processing facility in McAllen, Texas on Sunday. We were not allowed to take our cameras. They told us you have about 8 minutes. We ended up having 15. And what we saw were cages, locked cages, chain-linked cages, that people who had allegedly crossed the border were being held in. Now, that only happened for 72 hours. They were brought into this facility, and as you came in is how you were booked. If you came in as a dad and a son, you were put in the cage with the fathers and their children, fathers who had both boys and girls. There was another cage of mothers who had both boys and girls, and then there was a cage of unaccompanied minors. A lot of them actually crossed the border by themselves. In fact, I just heard a story this week of how Border Patrol took custody of a 6-year-old boy who they found wandering near the border who had been abandoned by smugglers.
Now, are you aware of any families separated after the executive order was made?
We are not.
And so, they're taking these kids all across the country. Do we know whether these parents know where their kids are? Do we know when they might be reunited?
In many cases, what we're being told is that the parents do not know where the kids are going, and we do not know when they will be reunited. However, I just got out of a roundtable discussion here in Texas where Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz were able to ask questions from agency officials. And one of the interesting things we heard was it's up to the parent to decide upon figuring out if the parent's going to get deported or jail if they want to reunify with child. And one thing that I was quite surprised to hear is that in many cases, the word many cases was used, parents actually decide not to reunite with their child. They ask to be deported, and they ask that the child stay here because according to the agency spokesperson, the parent prefers that the child go through the immigration process in the hopes that that child becomes an American citizen.
And I talked with David on and on about, his visit pertaining to the border. And one of the things I found interesting was, I told him, when someone's arrested here in the United States, we have records, we have documents that we can refer to leading us through that process. And he said, yeah, we would like to have those same things. Officials are telling him that those documents exist, that they have them, but he's not able to see them. So access is a really big concern for him.
That's really heart-wrenching, the last part of that interview where the parents are willing to give up their children in the hopes that the kids will have a better life in the United States and they're willing to go back home.
He has several other really interesting tidbits like that one in the full interview.
And the full interview, I guess, is posted right now at WLFI.com.
It sure is.
Okay, interesting stuff. Thanks, Kayla. Chad Evans now with our forecast.
And now, your Precision 18 forecast. News 18. Weather from where you live.
Oh yeah, Jeff and Kayla, we've got slow-moving scattered showers and storms around.